The teacher.
Welcome back to another episode of Teacher Tuesdays. I'm your host, Minister Joell, known as the teacher. I tell you, it feels good to be inside. To all my believers out there, say it feels good to be inside. You know, while the world is out there saying we outside, believers, let's say we are inside, because it's going to take what's on the inside to get us inside the kingdom. Hope everybody's having an awesome day today. We're going to go ahead and jump right in with a little encouraging words from yours truly. We're going to be coming from Psalms chapter 1. We're going to read verses 1 through 6. You can read along. I think this is one that a lot of people are familiar with. It says, "Blessed the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and his law doeth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the shaft which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish." So the headline for today is going to be, watch where you sit. We just got through reading Psalms chapter 1. Pretty sure it's written by David. And he clearly talks about the way a believer operates, the way a believer moves, and the way God sees that believer. Now, when we're talking about believers, we're not talking about people who just go to church every Sunday or Wednesday and just say, "I'm a Christian." We're talking about those, as the scriptures say, who meditate day and night. And it talks about not sitting in the seat of the scornful. So I just want to encourage everybody today to watch where you sit. You go different places, different houses, different churches, different jobs. You have to be careful about where you're sitting, because when you sit down, that's a sign of being comfortable where you're at. You're also somewhat defenseless to what could transpire. So in the spiritual realm, it's actually got to be the same way. You have to watch where you sit. When you're sitting down, you're in agreement with the place that you're at. How many times have you been to somebody's house or in a place where you didn't feel comfortable? And when you didn't feel comfortable, you wouldn't sit down. Matter of fact, most of y'all probably turned around and left. I know that's what I've done in the past. And that's what I would do in the future if I'm somewhere where I feel like I shouldn't be. Like, you know, discernment kicks in and you can just tell from the energy and from the vibe that something's off. So I just want to, look over those scriptures in Psalms 1 that talks about meditating day and night. And it also says he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Planted. A tree that's planted by the rivers of water. That means that if you are seated in a place that God has put you at, he will continue to water you, which means you will grow. If you're in a place where you're not growing, you're not that tree planted by the rivers of water. You're not in a place that God wants you to be. Sometimes we get told a lot like, hey, you need to be here, and hey, you need to be there. People have no heaven or hell to put you in. Only God can do those things. We have to analyze ourselves and see where we are sitting. Even when we're at work, if we're sitting in a place where God is not able to use you to witness to people, even if by your lifestyle or by your words, you might want to change where you sit. It's kind of like spiritual musical chairs somewhat. You know how everybody's running around in a circle, and when the music's playing, when the music stops, they try to sit down, they try to rush to that seat. But don't rush to no seat. Don't play the spiritual musical chairs. Don't just go sit down because you think you might not have nowhere to sit. Make sure wherever you sit is where God has placed you. Whether it's at home, whether it's at church, whether it's, no matter where you're at, make sure you're in a place that God wants you to be. And you know how you know you're in a place where God wants you to be? Because you'll start to see God move in your life. He said you'll be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, which means that you will be fed with water, and God will feed you with blessings, and everything in your life just seems like it's just going great. Not that it will always be like that, but you can tell when you're somewhere that God wants you to be, because everything just seems to come together. When you pray, God is answering. You're getting confirmation through things that you talk to God about. This is how you know when God is in the midst of the decisions that you're making, and He has placed you in the place that you're sitting. So I just want to encourage everybody today on this Teacher Tuesday to watch where you sit. Watch where you get comfortable at. These spirits and stuff will grab a hold of you, will attack you. You have people who claim to be prophets and prophetess, and if you don't have that discernment, or if you're sitting in the wrong place, you won't be able to tell that you're actually dealing with a psychic or a medium or a fortune teller, which we know those are not, people of God, because they're not sitting in the place that God has put them in. So it's very important about where you sit. Even Jesus is said to sit at the right hand of the throne. So sitting is very important, with our everyday life, because as we go through, our day, we usually sit down when we become tired, when we want to relax. Don't relax in the place that's ungodly. So just want to encourage everybody today, Teacher Tuesday, watch where you sit. Watch where you sit, people. God bless.